Alright guys, so this is the basic board setup for Settlers of Catan. Now you have all of these little hexagonal squares that you shuffle up and then randomly disperse throughout this kind of frame that you have to put together. You have all these little tiles here that they all have a number on them. Like this one, for example, is 9, and you also shake those up. And you randomly distribute them on the board, and you notice that some of them are red, like this 6 here. And if this 6 and this 8, which is also red, are too close together, to say like they're on corresponding tiles here, you gotta kind of take them up and mix them up again, because otherwise it's not really fair and it's stupid. All of the numbers correspond to numbers that you can roll on the die or dice. So you start off, everybody has, we keep them all in conveniently placed little baggies, but everyone starts off with one little house, which you start by placing anywhere on the board. There is an order to which you roll. I mean, depends on how many players you have, etc. But I mean, we generally play 3 players because there are 3 people here. So you roll a dice to see who goes first. Oh, I've got 5. I go first. Well, I'll place here, and then you would have, you place that, and you also place a little road, like so. Now this is actually quite an optimal spot. I just kind of picked it at random, but it's actually pretty good. But you would have, the next person would go around and pick their spot. And then the third person, because they're last, gets to pick both of theirs at once. Because, possibly most of the good spots are taken up. So as opposed to having to go all the way around again, it makes it a little bit more even and fair. The third person gets to place both of theirs, and then the second person gets to place theirs again. And then I would get to place my final one. Say over here. Let's go like that. That's great. That'll be a good spot. We like that. All of the hexagonal squares have drawings on them that denote what harvestable resource they have. And the goal of the game is to collect 20 victory points, which you get by massing these resources and building things with them, or buying what are called development cards. So these are the development cards. If you have, there are certain development cards like a palace, you get a victory point. And then there are other development cards. I mean, you guys are not going to get all of this game at once because it would just be way too complicated to talk about. I don't even, I've been playing this game for months and I still don't know everything about this game. It's very complex. But there are also the knight cards, which you can, if you have a certain amount of them, if you have 3 to start with, you get the largest army points card, which you get 2 victory points for. And then there's also these little road things. If you get over 5 and you have the most road segments in a row, then you get the longest road card, which is also 2 victory points. And then you have all of your buildings that you can build. So you can build roads, which aren't actually worth any victory points aside from the longest road achievement. You can make settlements that are worth a victory point. You can make cities, which look like that, which also are worth 2 victory points. And then you have your development cards, like I showed you, the palace one that can also give you a victory point. Now, now the game ends when you have 10 victory points, or when one of the people has 10 victory points. So, say, I mean, it would be much too complicated to make a theoretical game here. It's just way too much time and effort to try and do this. It's a very complicated game, but say I had, you know, these were both cities, and throughout the course of the game, I have connected them with a road and then continued it on to another settlement. So right here I have 1, 2, 3, so that's 6 points, plus another 2 points for the longest road card. And then, say over the course of the game, I have played 3 knights, just enough to get me the other 2 victory points allowed in this card. I now officially have 10 victory points and I've won the game. But there are many different ways to win. I mean, you don't have to possess either of these things to win. It certainly helps, but you could have enough of these victory point cards, or you could have the longest road and not have any of these cities developed, or you could have 5 of these cities somewhere. It's the available options in ways to win is just entirely vast. I haven't even really discovered how to do it all. So that's kind of what makes this game so interesting, is there's so many different ways to win that it can look like someone is about to win from one side, but someone else comes up from behind and is just like, oh, I've got this, and I've got this knight card, and all sorts of stuff like that. So, I mean, that's a basic overview of this game. I've skipped a lot. I mean, I didn't even talk about the bandit that is over here, which is another can of worms. But, I mean, it's a turn-based game where you use dice. You have fun little pieces, and because you mix it up, the game is different every time. I mean, you have to shake and sort all of those, and you have to shuffle all of these every time. There's also these little trading ports all the way around the game that you also are also really crucial in terms of winning the game. I mean, there's just so much stuff. It's craziness. So I'm just gonna end this here. You guys haven't even seen my face yet, but I it's too much. Awkward nuts. I will see you next Wednesday. Cat, I will see you tomorrow.